Oh my god, their pasta looked so good though.
It really did. Alright, cool. So, this is like, I feel like the first double feature we've done ever. In terms of just...
No, we did Cars and...
Oh, right, we did! Despicable Me 3.
Yeah, Despicable Me 3.
That just shows you how much Despicable Me 3 is stuck in my mind since we saw it.
Not much.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that one was about.
I remember Cars 3 more than I remember Despicable Me 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a sad thought. Anyway, speaking of Pixar,
we're doing Luca.
We're doing Luca, their newest movie that went straight to Disney Plus, because I guess this was kind of like the soul in that weird awkward place between like pandemic and post-pandemic. Even though we're still in the pandemic, but we're in California, so it's relatively okay for now until something else catastrophic happens. But I'd rather not think about that right now because it's like essentially depressing. I'm gonna interrupt my train of thought there. So yeah, Luca is the movie about Italian mermaids, basically.
Well, first of all, they would technically be Sahagins.
Italian Sahagins.
Or also commonly known as mermen.
Italian mermen. Really going with the semantics here.
They have tails and legs.
Anywho, so this is a pretty straightforward coming-of-age story, that was good. I enjoyed it. Didn't love it.
It wasn't special. Like, it's not worse than The Good Dinosaur, but it's also not better than Brave. Is that accurate to you?
I'd honestly put this above Brave for me.
It's like on par with Brave for me. I don't know.
And I also feel like people shat way too hard on Good Dinosaur when that came out. Which is like, it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not like god awful either.
It's just not the best Pixar film, and like the range of what is considered good and bad, like good for Pixar to bad for Pixar, and what's good for other movies and bad for other movies is just like the scale of the spectrum is different.
That's fair. Like I would see like the best way to describe Luca was kind of like, it felt like a weird kind of blend between like a Wallace and Gromit movie in terms of animation style and a Wes Anderson movie.
Okay.
Kind of like a slice of life, kind of oddly paced kind of film.
So I got, hang on, what did I get out of this? It wasn't Wes Anderson for sure. That's not where I got like Mamma Mia vibes.
I mean, in that it takes place in a similar setting.
I mean, like at least the color palette and everything.
Yeah.
The color palette really reminds me of like Mamma Mia. Like I half expected them to sing.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't, honestly.
Why? It would have been beautiful Italian opera.
Sure.
It was like that plus there was like that there was like a Disney Channel original movie also about a mermaid, and I had those.
Oh God, why do I remember that?
You know what I'm talking about.
I fucking do, and it upsets me that I know.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I do not remember what it was called.
I don't remember what it's called, but it gave me the exact same vibes as that movie, but also like had the color palette of Mamma Mia, and that's where I'm coming from.
It's based in Italy, and Italy is just a gorgeous
Isn't Mamma Mia in Greece?
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
I'm talking about Luca in this case.
So Luca is in Italy.
So Luca takes place in Italy. So like the decor and the environments, all that stuff are gorgeously rendered from like the most picturesque visions of Italy, which is of course just gorgeous to look at. And the story kind of takes a while to figure out what it wants to do with it. Like I think the central crisis doesn't come into like I want to say like 45 minutes into the film.
Honestly, it felt like the intro for like there was so much exposition that by the time they got to the part where you had asshole rich kid come in,
Yeah.
like it's
a solid 30, 45 minutes.
It's a solid like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
When the conflict is introduced.
But once it gets there, it finds its footing. At least it did for me. Where I felt like the pacing got better, and I got more into like what they're doing with the characters and like what kind of they were going for in terms of like thematic.
I hate that I have to say that I'm not trying to like make this a pun, but I felt like it's not that they found their footing, but like it felt like it was more slick, you know.
I get your intended meaning there.
Yeah.
It felt like this is where they wanted to go. They just didn't know how to get there. But once it did eventually get there, yeah, it does feel a lot smoother.
Cause you know, you could edit this to be like, oh, this is my friend I've always grown up with down in the ocean, instead of, hey, I just met this other mer kid on the coast of Italy one day, and he just lives on an island by himself, and then now we have to meet Julia and her one-armed dad who makes beautiful pasta.
Dude, I fucking loved the dad. He was my favorite character.
Oh my fucking god! Like when he plated the pasta, I'm like, damn, they just like took a picture of someone's lunch.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, so the central plot for this movie, those who don't know, basically it's about this kid named Luca, who is just kind of isolated in this like mer society with like his fish sheep, which is kind of weird. But I was like, all right, sure, whatever.
Sure.
He's
a fish shepherd.
He's a fish shepherd. I guess that's a thing they do here. Sure, why not? And the parents isolate him a lot, and he's basically like very, very sheltered life until one day he runs into this other kid named Roberto, who kind of just forces him upward. Where it's like, hey, you're coming with me, and takes him up to the surface. And they realize to go on the surface, they turn into like human-looking people. And then it kind of starts going back and forth on that for a little while until his parents find out, and then they decide to run away to the city nearby. Where they basically get roped into like a triathlon thing.
Yeah, it's a weird triathlon because it's like, all right, go fucking swim, eat a giant bowl of pasta, and then go fucking bike right afterwards. Because the order of that should really be go do all the activities first, and then when you're dead fucking tired, here's a bowl of pasta.
Yeah.
So you won't fucking die.
Instead, they have just somebody prepared to handle the vomit, because for some reason that's a better alternative. But like, so, things I like. I like the relationship between the characters. I thought they were all well written enough. It's Pixar, they're good at that. It's not Soul, it's not Inside Out, it's not going to be like this ultra deep, complex psychological thing.
I mean, I felt like it touches on racism more than Soul does.
In a manner of speaking, kind of in that way that addresses it but also doesn't address it.
Really? They literally had a thing that was like, yeah, our town is famous for killing sea monsters.
Yeah, that doesn't actually reflect, like,
and we all
modern day racism, though.
I mean, yeah, but modern day racism is also about like, oh, these are the stereotypes of someone, and we're going to make assumptions based on that and have our fear-based reasoning off of that.
There's a big difference between that and we just murder these people.
I mean,
that my point is, it's not really critiquing much. It's more just there for a plot device.
Okay.
So at least, like, I'm not saying Soul was like an exemplary like example of handling race in animated film, but at the same time, like,
I don't think that was Soul's purpose. We talked about.
Yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah. I mean, at least it felt like more grounded in it.
Yeah.
This one is more. It kind of takes a fantastical element, which we've seen done in a lot of children's movies. It's not a new idea. But anyway, so it's more she gets the idea that the kids have to hide their identities and stuff like that from people who want to kill, from people who are actually trying to prove that a. See, that's a big reason it doesn't work as a race metaphor, is because it will also imply that it's like, there are people who are different than us that we're not sure exist or not. So that doesn't really work in terms of race allegory. You get my meaning there?
I disagree, but I see where you're coming from.
Fair enough. So, relationships are good. The animation, of course, is great. It takes a while getting used to because it is a very different style of character model for Pixar.
Yeah, I wasn't in love with the character models. They were good, but they weren't like great. You know.
I mean, like I said, it was a different visual style. They were clearly trying to do something different with this.
Yeah.
That's why it kind of gave me like Wallace and Gromit, like Chicken Run kind of vibes. Like mostly in like the way the mouths and the teeth were animated.
Okay, I see that now. Yeah.
Yeah, so like they almost had a kind of weird claymation style to it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not quite all the way there, but I see where you're coming from.
At least in terms of like visual design, not necessarily in terms of movement.
Yeah.
And like the central crux works okay. This is one of those ones I'm having a weird amount of time trying to like talk about going too much into spoilers yet, because most of what I have to say would probably go into more into spoiler territory.
You might as well just cut the spoilers.
Okay, so for what it's worth, I liked it. I think it's perfectly fine. It's not top tier Pixar, but it gets the job done.
It's like It's like a good 7 out of 10 for me.
I put this at a solid 7.
It's a solid 7.
Yeah. So
if you really like Sahagins and mer people, it might be your thing. You might give it an 8.
Okay. Is that like something in D&D? Is that
no? That's a real term.
Okay.
Of mythological creature.
I just like never hear it used like in a common
I mean, it's also I think it's a different pronunciation.
Maybe
Sahagin. There's anyway, whatever.
Mer people.
Mer people is the common phrase now.
Anywho, spoilers. So I like what this movie did in terms of what its message was, which is, for the most part, this poor Luca kid, is pretty much just dragged along the whims of whoever happens to be in his zeitgeist at that particular moment.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that Luca's arc was it's like, oh, I need to it's actually want things.
It was basically
it's okay for me to want things.
Yeah, it was about him discovering his autonomy.
Yeah.
Because what happens, his parents are really sheltering him, so he's kind of really trying to do what his parents be the child that his parents want him to be.
His parents are fucked up.
Yeah, they're not.
No, hang on. His parents wanted him to go with his uncle, who is voiced by Sacha Cohen. I forgot his name.
Sacha Cohen Barrett.
Yeah. Borat. Right? And he's like an anglerfish merman, and he lives in the deep, and he's extra creepy with extra creep mayo sauce on him.
Yeah.
With an extra creep aioli. It is so creepy. He's like, look, Luca, my organs are transparent. Isn't that great? It's
and he starts choking on something, and the dad just punch him in the heart, son. No, you gotta punch it hard.
You gotta really punch his heart.
You get that red thing in the middle. You can see it there. Just punch it really hard.
It's transparent. It was almost like a really awkward Rick and Morty scene where it's like, come on, Morty, you just gotta punch my brother's heart.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, Rick.
Kinda, yeah, kind of a similar vibe to it.
It's so I'm just saying, the choice between it's hey, we want our kid to stay safe, or we'll send him to the deepest, darkest abyss with the creepiest merman of all time.
Yeah. Who has a really weird thing with Will.
It's a really weird priority.
Yep.
That parenting style, not in love with it.
Yeah, it's more like a little scared straight bullshit tactics that parents think is something that actually works for, as opposed to traumatizing your child, which is what it actually does.
That's exactly. I'm traumatized for him.
Yeah, right?
You can see the man's heart.
I mean, I guess not where he lives, but,
He's fine. I live under the sea. It all's dark and shit.
Meanwhile, Roberto also is trying to get him, he really wants to get this Vespa that they both kind of fell in love with, so they can travel the world and all that stuff.
Yes, because you can go so many places with a Vespa.
They don't know that.
They don't know that. So that's why it's charming.
Yeah.
It's charming that they want a Vespa, and it's you don't want like a motorbike or like a car, like a Fiat or something.
Yeah,
I
right.
think that'd be more up what you want.
Look, they can drive a Vespa. That's as far as they've gotten. But anywho, I was honestly really worried about Roberto's character for a bit there, particularly towards like heading towards the third act.
Oh, when it's like, oh, that's a sea monster, not my friend.
No, it's more like the
right
actions
before that?
leading up to that, because Roberto, towards the third act of the movie, proves himself to be a right bastard. Because like right off the bat, like he gaslights, he projects, he controls, he basically does everything he can to be like the most toxic friend he could possibly be. And I was really worried the movie was gonna like gloss over that. And it still kind of does, but at least it has him like recognize that he's being selfish. Because what it is, like Luca as a character gets closer to this girl they meet, like Julia, and she kind of starts opening his eyes to what's out there in terms of like what he can learn and what he can do.
And the stars aren't just anchovies.
And like the lights in the sky at night are like stars, not fish.
And here's a planet. Here's my telescope to show you a fucking Saturn.
Yeah, and but like in this, he's been gaslighted a lot. Like I was getting a little annoyed because especially because like his parents, Luca's parents, come out to try to find him after they realized he'd gone, and they're splashing all the kids with water trying to figure out which one, which is it was pretty funny.
I actually really enjoyed the parents trying to find Luca.
That was actually
that was actually the better part of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, do you kids want to play soccer really close to this fountain?
Yeah. It's just
oh, you look so thirsty.
Just these adults just fucking with these children in this way that they mean like, oh no, it's fucking her, run.
The one kid with the ice cream is like, why would you do that?
I feel bad for that kid.
That kid will talk about that in therapy.
Oh yeah, that's definitely good. He's like, he just started yelling at me about what I've done and I don't know what he was talking about.
And my ice cream fell in the ocean and that's when the fish shit.
That's oddly specific.
Fish shit in it.
Alright, anywho. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So while this is all happening, like Luca's trying to convey his like concerns to Roberto. He's going like, they're not here. It's fine. Like you don't need to know that. You don't need to do that. All these like really gaslighty turns. I'm like, this is really triggering for me. Like, where are they gonna go with this?
Oh, what was it? Shut up, Bruno. Yeah.
Like even that part, I don't really have an issue with because there is some legitimacy in like overcoming your own anxieties and overthinking.
Yeah.
My problem is more like when he's actively trying to distort his perception of reality by just actively dismissing it, which is a very common gaslighting tactic.
I think I hate defending this.
No, it's like I don't think it was intentional.
I think that's how it came out, but what I saw was Roberto was like, this kid is such a nervous wreck all the fucking time. He actually, like, it's more my thing to, like, calm him down. See, that's probably something he's more familiar with.
See, I'm gonna push back on that because...
But it is pretty gaslighty.
No, like, because, like, in earlier scenes, sure, you can make that argument, but in that third act, it was purely out of spite. Of jealousy and anger. And he's actively dismissing his concerns. He's trying to convince him to do what he wants to do as opposed to what Luca wants to do. He's like, and as a Hail Mary as a way to control people, it's like, oh, Julia, do you think you can handle yourself against sea monsters? Look, I'm a sea monster. Be scared of me. It's like, that is a blatant attempt to control. And like,
yeah, that was pretty shitty of him.
So like, and then the movie wants us to feel bad for him because Luca goes, oh, like kind of like plays along, like, oh no, a sea monster. I'm totally human, you guys. And
I'm a real human.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're supposed to feel bad for Roberto. I was like, no, motherfucker, you just played your hand and it backfired on you. That's what fucking happened here. You totally overestimated your control of the situation.
Yeah.
Now, I
think it's like lightly implied that Roberto has some serious abandonment issues.
For sure. And I'm not condemning Roberto as a character because he does actually have like a good redemption.
Yeah, he gets better.
Yeah, he gets better. So so if it stayed there, we were supposed to feel bad for Roberto for Luca's actions. I would have been like, fuck this movie, honestly, because that is a killer.
Oh, Max, stop biting yourself.
Max!
Stop biting yourself, baby. Thank you.
He's biting his paws really aggressively for those who wonder what the hell we're talking about.
That's for allergy season.
Yeah, but anyway. But, like, thankfully, he does come around. He does realize he was being selfish. He doesn't say it explicitly, and he comes around. He helps Luca, like, succeed in what he wants to do. He supports what he wants to do, because even though this happens, Luca decides to go through with the race anyway, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to, like, win this money. He wants to get the Vespa.
Yeah, the Vespa that they can actually afford is, like, this piece of shit.
Yeah, but they don't care. They don't know any better.
I mean, in comparison to what they were prototyping before, like, yeah, it's an amazing Vespa.
Yeah, right. So they get really into the... so Luca's basically doing this for himself at this point, and that's when Roberto goes like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice my safety to help you do what you want to do. And it's like, okay, cool. That's a good friend. That is how you get out of toxic behavior, when you recognize it and try to do something about it. Mm-hmm. So I was glad that they did that. I kind of wish they addressed it more explicitly, but I still liked what they did with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, go for it.
Stop biting yourself.
One other thing I did like about this movie too is I did like just the general empathy I felt like this movie had about like just kind of caring about people. There was kind of appreciated, particularly with the dad character, who I just adored in this movie, because the dad, they show off as like this one-armed person. You can like occasionally see his eyes, really has like a really big frowny like Mario but on steroids kind of vibe going for him.
I thought it was more like Wario.
Yeah, I can see that too. But like big, blocky, really tough-looking guy.
Like really square, square-headed man.
Yeah, so like basically the way you expect to be the tough ass, but like he's like just a sweetheart. Like doesn't like say doesn't tell his daughter he doesn't want her to go do the race because it like family business, whatever. It's like, I don't want you to be disappointed again. Like
I thought it was because we literally have no money.
Well, that was the other reason. But
that was the other reason.
That was the other reason. But the first reason was like, look, every year you do this, and every year it breaks your heart, and I don't want you to do. I don't want you to go through that again. And there's other parts where just like after they have Luca and Roberto have their fight, Roberto kind of goes off on his own. And the dad, without missing a beat, is like, well, where's Roberto? It's like, oh, he's gone. Without missing a beat, puts on his hat, and it's like, I don't think he wants to be found. It's like, okay, I'm still going to look for him. It's like...
That was actually, yeah, the dad character was really nice.
Yeah, so, like, I really appreciated that. Like, he did, like, seem like just a genuine sweetheart that just happened to have control of all the other fishermen.
Yeah, is it implied that he and Julia's mom are divorced? Is that the implication?
That seems to be what they're implying, yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, right?
I spend summers with my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, it started with her dad, and then she goes back to school on the train. She goes stays with her mom.
Yeah, at the Hogwarts looking fucking train. Hogwarts Express.
I guess Sarko's in Italy. I don't know.
You know, considering that there are mer people, makes sense.
Sure, makes sense than anything else. So, like, I really like any joke with the cat got a big laugh out of me.
The cat knew exactly what was happening.
Like, the cat, like, sees him when they accidentally splash with the water and the fish parts come out, and the cat just, like, fucking, like, eyeballs them, like, I'm fucking onto you, you asshole. And so any joke with the cat, I was busting up laughing. But yeah, I think overall, like, even though this isn't the best Pixar movie out there, I did like the heart that it does have. It did work for me. I do like this trend of movies of just teaching empathy to children and teaching them that it's not all about you, that you should care about the needs of people around you, that those are good to acknowledge, and it's good for parents too to recognize that your children are their own people.
And when your kids fuck up, they should own it.
And when they fuck up, they should own it, and you should be proud of the things they want to do that is their choice. And I think that's really important. So, like, for those kind of things, like, even though it's not the best package ever, I still like that it does those lessons. I admire any big-budget kids movies that actually teach those kind of things. I think that's important.
Yes.
Especially right now.
Especially right now.
Whereas, like, hey, guys, like, we're all fucking in this together. And so for those reasons, like I still recommend this movie. And like I said, like
yeah, it's a solid 7.
Yeah, like the second half's definitely a lot smoother than the first half.
I think it's a lot slicker. That's
okay.
my pun. Okay,
Right.
I used it again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll allow it. Now, granted, like of the Pixar movies that came out last year and this year, I think I'll still watch Soul over this.
I actually did watch Soul immediately afterwards.
Really? Oh, that's what you were doing that one day.
Yeah, I was watching Luca and then I watched Soul immediately afterwards.
Because like Soul is definitely a more ambitious film, at least in terms of narrative themes.
Oh, I mean, I just like the jazz and the middle school opening.
Fair. But yeah, it's good. It's a solid movie. I liked it for what it is.
Yeah, it's and it's part of your Disney Plus subscription. There's no reason not to watch it.
Exactly. So.
Disney Plus, please sponsor us, even though we swear a lot.
I'm afraid of what the mouse would do to us if they managed to sponsor us. We're gonna need to make some changes around here. Oh.
Can't have a corgi, gotta have a German Shepherd.
Weirdly specific.
I don't know.
It's like, can we animate the corgi? I feel like it's another thing. Does he need to be there? Can we replace him with animatronic, maybe?
Huh. No.
We need to sanitize your language, your fucking filthy mouth!
You're swearing, Loki! Anyway.
We don't say fuck. Yet. I'm waiting for the day.
Sure, dude.
It's gonna be Deadpool 3. But anyway, I think that's what we really have. Do you have any last thoughts on Luca?
No, not really.
Alright, cool. We're gonna talk about Wish Dragon next. Bye.
Bye.